helped Taiwan Tzu Chi volunteers organize blessing ceremonies to help the Kaohsiung blast survivors put their fear behind. We meet the deputy captain of the Qianjin Fire Bureau in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, who dedicated himself to save lives after the explosions. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Here in Taiwan, 2 blessing ceremonies were held over the past weekend at the Kaohsiung Jinsi Hall. Watching the master's teachings and performances presented by Xu Yafen's Taiwanese opera troupe, many say they were moved by the Buddha's profound Dharma, and their fears and worries have been laid to rest.
我现在走在路上都担心地下会爆炸。
In the days following the gas blasts in Kaohsiung, walking in the streets, residents fear another blast.
我一看到瓦斯就害怕。
While some need to conquer their fears of cooking with a gas stove. The short play portrays the fateful day no Kaohsiung residents want to recall. As residents grapple with fear and anxiety, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived with solace and care. Almost 1 month after the explosions in Kaohsiung, Tzu Chi volunteers organized 2 blessing ceremonies at the local Jinsi Hall and invited residents to join them in praying for peace and blessings.
Tzu Chi volunteers have accompanied residents with their love every step of the way. And through this blessing ceremony, we want to extend our deepest blessings to Kaohsiung's residents.
Xu Yafen's Chinese opera troupe also put on performances that conveyed the profound teachings of the Buddha to his disciples 2,500 years ago. Watching Buddhist tales told through Chinese opera, many audience members were left in awe.
The force of the blast was so strong that it knocks me over. I got bruised everywhere and injured my arm. I just had the cast taken off my arm. I was very depressed, but I feel more at peace now after watching the Taiwanese opera.
Another resident also brought a child who has been experiencing nightmares as a result of the blast to the blessing ceremony to listen to the master's teachings and immerse in the Buddha's Dharma.
I feel much better, more at ease now.
Present at the event were also family members of the victims of the TransAsia Airways crash. Realizing the impermanence of life, some break down in tears.
We comforted her and told her that her affinity with her loved one has come to an end. She should instead give him her blessings.
Taking part in this blessing ceremony, we hope and pray for peace and safety in our country.
Bringing together people from far and wide, volunteers hope through the blessing ceremony, members of the public can combine their strengths to pray for the peace and safety of Taiwan and its citizens. As love is being poured into this ocean of goodness, the jingle of coins is music to the ears. While attending the blessing ceremony, participants don't forget to bring their coin banks as well. Meanwhile, such acts of kindness are also blooming here at DaAi International. Staff members decided to put their Father's Day bonuses together to buy a fire engine to show their appreciation to the firefighters, who have been working tirelessly on the front lines in Kaohsiung.
Everyone received a special bonus for Father's Day, so we asked them to donate some of it to help those affected by the Kaohsiung gas blast. Our staff responded enthusiastically.
Some donated every day, while others donated every 2 days or 3 days. Everyone contributed what they could to make this happen.
With each staff making a kind contribution, more than 2 million NT dollars was collected. However, it turns out a fire engine costs more than 3 million NT dollars.
Although the final amount fell short, when Chairman Xie heard about this, he decided to make up for the shortage out of his own pocket.
Having realized their wish to reciprocate, managers and staff of DaAi International also attended the blessing ceremony, joining local residents in praying for peace and stability to return to Kaohsiung.
To help Kaohsiung residents in Taiwan put the fear of the gas explosions behind them, Tzu Chi volunteers have been visiting the homes of blast survivors with mooncakes and special music players. The electronic device contained Master Qianjin's teachings and a selection of soothing Tzu Chi music to comfort rattled hearts. Next to me, some who recently received this gift from Tzu Chi. Happily inviting the Tzu Chi volunteers into her home is 79-year-old Xu Zhangqie. Along with mooncakes, the volunteers also present the scenery with a special music player. Upon hearing Master Qianjin's words of care and concern, Grandma Xu can no longer hold back her tears. After getting herself back together, the senior speaks to the music player.
Master Qianjin, thank you so much. Thank you for caring for me, even though you are so busy.
Suddenly, the senior gets up and walks into her room. When she returns, she hands over a jar to the volunteers. Touched by the volunteers' sincerity, despite living a frugal lifestyle, Grandma Xu insists on donating her love to support Tzu Chi. Greeting the volunteers like old friends is Miss Su, whose son suffers from hydrocephalus. Besides telling the volunteers how much her family enjoyed the gift they have received previously, Su also opens up about her son's situation. After hearing that programs on DaAi TV have helped Ms. Su develop a more positive attitude, Tzu Chi volunteers quickly played her some of the sermons found on the music player.
Can we come in? The Mid-Autumn Festival is approaching, so we are here to deliver peace and blessing.
Another recipient of Tzu Chi's special music player is 74-year-old Mr. Zhu. Seeing the blue and white clad angels, the senior sits up to receive the gift of love.
The special music player contains the master's teachings. The senior was very happy and asked us to play it for him.
As the music player was designed to be easily operated, even seniors can use it to access the master's sermons anytime. Mission Anxin Fufu Zu took place this past weekend, with Tzu Chi volunteers also handing out consolation cash to business owners who need a helping hand, along with government subsidies and free repairs done by private and public businesses. Tzu Chi's assistance also came just in time.
This financial assistance is just what I needed. It can help to pay for daily expenses or rebuilding costs. I'm amazed that Tzu Chi knew this is what I needed most.
A victim of the Kaohsiung gas explosions, Ms. Wang's eyewear shop has been closed for a month. With no income coming in, Tzu Chi's consolation cash arrived just in time.
Tzu Chi has already provided assistance for my two children's college tuition. I'm very grateful that they took care of that. Tzu Chi has given me so much support already. It never occurred to me that I could still receive more blessings like this financial subsidy.
Ms. Wang no longer has to face the rebuilding process alone, as love has poured in from all corners of society, lending a hand where she needs it most.
We will conduct repairs on the storefront. including sealing and post repairs. We will also check on her electrical equipment.
电器设备的一些检查。
With professionals pitching in to help, shop owners like Ms. Wang no longer have to face the daunting rebuilding process on their own. Bakery owner Mr. Wang was another victim of the gas blasts. Luckily, he was able to resume businesses 3 days after the incident. However, the rebuilding of his home, which lies above, was not as quick.
Our damage was only about 30%, but the ground floor was in bad shape. The day the explosions occurred, the electric currents were unstable, so many of the fuses burned out.
Mr. Wang also rents out a part of his building to a breakfast shop, which has not been able to resume operations yet.
The day the gas explosions happened, the landlord told us since we don't have any income coming in, we don't need to pay for rent. We were worried in the beginning that we had to pay for these extra fees on top of our rent.
Ms. Shi and her sister are grateful for all the outside help that has poured in, including free repairs to their wall and their front door.
The government subsidy isn't enough to cover our rebuilding costs. Thankfully, Tzu Chi's consolation cash can help us to pay for that.
No longer down and out, survivors of the gas explosions are looking to brighter days ahead.
Immediately after the Kaohsiung gas explosions, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived in the disaster area to prepare hot meals for survivors. They borrowed the kitchen of Sanxing High School of Commerce and Home Economics and have been churning out vegetarian lunch boxes every day for the past month. Though the service has now ended, volunteers hope the victims will continue to cultivate their affinity with Tzu Chi.
In this kitchen, Tzu Chi volunteers have been enduring high heat to cook up fresh and delicious vegetarian meals for the past 30 days. Volunteers of all ages come together each day before daybreak to help prepare the meals.
I hope they will enjoy the food and their mood will be happier and calmer.
There are a total of 7 teams, and we have been here for about a month. Everyone here is happy to serve.
Though the roads in the disaster area are a mess, volunteers find ways to deliver the freshly made lunch boxes into the hands of hungry disaster survivors. Faculty from Hualien's Tzu Chi University also came to support the cause.
Maybe some of them will develop a liking for Tzu Chi's instant rice and will decide to become a vegetarian.
Rain or shine, Tzu Chi volunteers delivered the meals, their dedication touching those on the receiving end.
You are so committed. It has already been a month.
Any food is delicious to a vegetarian.
Many of them ask when they will be able to see us volunteers again. None of us wants to say goodbye.
I have never done anything like this before. Even though it's the last day, everyone is still very happy.
As volunteers clear out of the kitchen of Sanxing High School, they are happy to see a sense of normalcy return to the disaster area and to the lives of those affected. Volunteers also hope that their efforts have inspired the victims to continue to cultivate their affinity with Tzu Chi in the days ahead.
It has been more than a month since the deadly Kaohsiung gas explosions. In memorial of the tragedy, we have prepared this new series that offers an in-depth look at the incident. Today we meet the deputy captain of the Qianjin Fire Bureau, who was left severely injured as he worked to save lives at the blast site.
Just how arrogant can men be? Just because we can build and create? But when our own actions backfire and harm us in return, that's when we realize how puny and vulnerable we are. Emergency workers serving on the front lines have no time to second-guess themselves when it comes to saving lives.
This is the jacket that our deputy captain was wearing on the night of gas explosions. Though the exterior shell had already carbonized due to the explosions, the interior stayed intact and was able to protect him to a certain extent. These are his glasses. The frame is slightly carbonized as well. Around 8 to 9 at night, we received numerous calls reporting that there was a gas leak, so we went out to investigate.
However, what awaited them was an enemy that they had never faced before.
The deputy captain asked me to drive on ahead. It was about 10 minutes before the explosions.
48-year-old Yu Taiyun, the deputy captain of the branch, has been a firefighter for 29 years. He was outside of his vehicle when the blasts occurred.
He didn't care about his own injuries, but immediately assessed the situation and asked for backup through his walkie-talkie. Several motorcyclists were engulfed in flames, so he immediately grabbed an extinguisher to put out the fire. I tried to help set up a hose to help cool him off, but he told me to spray down the civilians first.
The deputy captain even made sure the injured civilians got on the ambulances first.
In the end, no cars or ambulance were left, so we ran for about 500 to 600 meters to find a taxi, which then took him to the hospital.
Yu Taiyun was hospitalized for second and third degree burns to his face and arms. That night, 6 emergency workers perished while 24 were injured.
Many of us who have served for more than 2 decades had never shed tears before. But that night, having witnessed the deaths and injuries to both the civilians and our comrades, we just couldn't contain ourselves. Still, we tried to be strong because we were needed on the front line. Though our deputy captain has been injured, I think his injuries will not dent his devotion to serving and helping people. We have left his equipment here intact and hope that he will soon make a full recovery and rejoin us.
They don't only become heroes when they have sacrificed their life. They are heroes because they are risking their lives to save lives every day. As calm returns to Kaohsiung, only by learning from this tragedy can we give meaning to the tears, heartbreak, and sacrifice that followed it.
Next, we go to Thailand to meet 13-year-old Naruson, who suffers from ALS. Despite knowing that there isn't a cure or treatment to the condition, the boy's parents never give up. Just as the family struggles to pay the medical bills, Tzu Chi volunteers walked into their lives. To reciprocate this love, the family decided to donate to Tzu Chi's bamboo coin banks every day.
Only with his mother's assistance can 13-year-old Naruson pin a jasmine flower on her blouse. Diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, the young boy's body has slowly deteriorated to the point where he needs a machine to help him breathe.
I want to take care of my children, but I remind myself that if he did leave me one day, I would need to learn to let go of him.
Knowing their child won't live past his 20s, the parents are still not willing to give up on him. Every month, Naruson visits the hospital for a checkup, and the ambulance fee to get there is about 2,000 Thai baht, which amounts to 5 days of pay for his father. Facing an increasing heavy financial burden, Naruson's mother's health has taken a turn for the worse.
I am worried if they lose their mother and father, how would these 2 children live the rest of their days?
Adding to the sufferings of this family, Naruson's younger brother was recently diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease as well. Thankfully, through a friend's referral, Tzu Chi volunteers have been subsidizing this family's finances since May. Finally, with room to breathe easy, the father counts his blessings and knows to give back to the less fortunate.
There are people out there who are poor just like us, but perhaps they aren't as lucky because we have angels to help us. So I want to share this love with others because I know how it feels to be in their shoes.
Knowing their blessings and cherishing every moment together is how this family is getting through these difficult days.
To mark Lunar July in Jakarta, Indonesia, the local Tzu Chi chapter has organized a series of activities to promote the month as an auspicious time in a period of filial piety. One of the events was a presentation of the musical of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents inside a shopping complex in the city.
Inside a shopping complex in Jakarta, Indonesia, volunteers try to portray the hardship a mother endures during pregnancy.
The Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents musical explores the parent-child relationship. The plot is about children who don't honor and care for their parents after they grow up, when their parents have endured so much hardship to raise them. Through our performance, we hope people will be inspired to honor their parents at a young age.
The musical is a part of the Lunar July events organized by the local Tzu Chi chapter. It took nearly all the volunteers of all ages in East Jakarta to put together the performance, and rehearsals began in June.
Actually, we began recruiting performers in the beginning of the year, but rehearsals only began in the last 3 months.
Through sign language and acting, volunteers help the audience come to understand the meaning of filial piety. Many walked away moved and inspired.
It was outstanding and inspirational. For us, who will soon be parents ourselves, the musical serves as a lesson. It teaches us to teach our child about filial piety while reminding us to honor our own parents as well.
I just want to say thanks to my parents. Without them, we wouldn't be here.
I think children should also watch this musical so they may understand what their parents go through to raise them. At the same time, I also need to reflect on my own actions and honor my own parents.
The moving performance has shone a new light on the parent-child relationship and inspired citizens of Jakarta to reevaluate their actions.
In the United States, Northern California, Tzu Chi volunteers had the chance to promote Tzu Chi's instant rice inside supermarkets in San Jose and Cupertino. The rice has helped feed numerous disaster victims as it can be easily prepared without electricity or fire. Many people know how to prepare rice by using a rice cooker. However, without electricity or fire, how do we cook rice? Inside the supermarket, shoppers try some rice that can overcome these problems.
Yes, you need to only use 120 cc's of water.
Tzu Chi's instant rice can be prepared by using cold or hot drinkable water. This is the first time Northern California Tzu Chi volunteers are promoting Tzu Chi's instant rice at local supermarkets. Whether it is in San Jose or Cupertino, members of the public show their interest in the product.
Tzu Chi's instant rice is on sale in the supermarket right now. This is for demo only. We are here to let everyone know more about our products.
After listening to volunteers sharing about Tzu Chi's relief effort following Hurricane Sandy, many agreed that it is better to be prepared for disasters. Furthermore, the volunteers also encouraged the public to adopt Tzu Chi's bamboo coin bank. With the support of supermarket owners, Tzu Chi volunteers have the chance to introduce the NGO's instant rice and concepts to even more people. We go to Taiwan's Taipei City at the end of the show to mark the beginning of a new semester. Senior students at the Hutan Elementary School harvest rice they planted earlier in the year, while the first grader planted sakura tree seedlings. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.